Hello everyone, it's me. Let's take a look at another one of Neville Goddard's teachings called At Your Command. This lesson was given on September 26, 1948 in a small rented hall above a garage in Los Angeles. And it's one of my favorites because it contains a simple teaching that, when understood and applied, can change your life dramatically. So let's dive right in. As usual, we'll start with the quote of the day. God and man are one. God is man and exists in us and as us. If you understand this statement, you know what you want and you have it already. Neville says that many people believe they will become happy when certain conditions are met. They think if they can only get that job, marry that person, have that amount of money, then they will be happy. But he says no. When you are happy is now. When you are that for which you are seeking is now. In other words, when you are love, you manifest love. When you are wealth, you manifest wealth. When you are health, you manifest health. We don't need to become something else to manifest something else. We already are that which we seek. So where do we go wrong? Well, Neville says we give life to whatever we assume to be true. We are giving life to what we believe, and there is nothing outside of ourselves. There is no external world. Our outer world is merely an effect of our inner world, our thoughts. So everything we see, hear, taste, smell, touch, think, feel, and believe is created by our minds. Our outer world is just the mirror reflecting our inner world. Neville then tells the story of a woman who came up to him after a lecture and told him her amazing story. She said she had been living in a tiny one-room shack with dirt floors and walls. It was dark and dirty and she hated it. But she had a strong imagination, and so she would visualize herself living in a beautiful 5-room apartment, modern and clean. She imagined how great it would be to have her own place like that. After she did this visualization for a while, she ran out of paper and stopped doing it. Then about a week later, she was walking down the street and saw a sign in the window of a building that read rooms to rent. She walked in, and the landlord showed her an apartment that had 5 rooms, just as she had imagined it. He told her she could have it for half price for the first year, and all she had to do was sign the lease. She told him she couldn't afford that rent, but he insisted. She moved in that same day. Now, the truth of this story is not really important. What is important is the lesson. Neville uses this story to illustrate a principle that we must always remember. We create our reality, and we have what we choose to believe is true. The woman had a vision of her ideal apartment. She believed it was real even though she didn't see it physically, and she acted as if it was already hers by imagining herself living in it every day. This caused her to put out mental pictures into the universe, and those mental pictures eventually manifested as her new home. This is how our mind works. It doesn't know the difference between something that is real or something that is imagined. If you imagine something long enough and believe it's real, eventually it will manifest in your life. The key is to realize that we are creators. We can have anything we want whenever we want it, if we will only believe it. Now, sometimes we may need to take certain actions to bring our desires into physical form. For example, we may need to take steps to manifest something in the physical world. However, the inner state is always the cause, and the outer world is just the effect. Now, Neville says many people ask him, "How can I know what to do?" And his answer is simple. Just look inside yourself and find out what you are. When you discover what you truly are, you will know what to do. We don't need to figure things out. We don't need to plan or scheme or plot or worry or fret at. All we need to do is look within and see what is already there. Everything we need to know, everything we need to experience, everything we need to manifest is already within us. We just need to access it. It's like when you were learning to drive a car. You may be nervous and afraid at first, but once you get started, everything begins to flow naturally. You don't have to think about each step. You just let your body do what it knows how to do. That is exactly how manifesting works. Once you get the hang of it, once you believe in your power to create your own reality, everything starts flowing easily to you. Neville then talks about how people often blame others for their problems. He says that blaming someone else is just an excuse for not taking responsibility for our own actions. He tells the story of a woman who came up to him after a lecture and told him how she was going to sue her boss because he had made her quit her job. She was angry at him and felt he had done something wrong. Neville asked her why she thought he made her quit. She said it was because he didn't appreciate her work enough. Neville then asked her why she thought he didn't appreciate her work enough. She said it was because he never gave her raises. Neville then asked her why she thought he didn't give her raises. She replied, "Because I don't ask for them." Neville then asked her, Why don't you ask for them? She responded, because I am afraid. So Neville asked her again, why are you afraid? And she said, because I might get fired. Neville then pointed out that she was already fired, wasn't she? So she realized that she had created her situation by not asking for a raise. She was blaming her boss for making her quit, but it was really her fear of losing her job that had caused her to lose her job. She had created her situation through her thoughts, her beliefs, and her assumptions. She had brought it on herself. So Neville says we must stop blaming others for our problems and take responsibility for them. We are the ones who have created them. We are the ones who can change them. We don't need to complain or criticize or be angry or bitter. All we need to do is look within and see what needs to be changed. Then we can take action to change it. There is a wonderful story in the Bible that illustrates this principle perfectly. It is the story of Jesus and the disciples in the boat during the storm. The disciples were scared and helpless as the waves crashed around them, and the wind howled, and they cried out to Jesus for help. But he calmly got up, rebuked the winds and the waves, and immediately everything was calm again. In this story, the disciples were the students, and Jesus was their teacher. He wanted them to learn a powerful lesson about the nature of reality. He wanted them to understand that they were not victims of circumstances, but that they were the operant power. They had the ability to change their circumstances through their beliefs and their thoughts. When Jesus rebuked the winds and the waves, he did not try to fight them. He did not try to make them go away by force. He simply told them to go away. They listened. Why? Because he believed he had the power to control them. He believed he was not a victim of circumstances, but that he was the master of his own destiny. And when he believed this, it became true. The storm ceased, and everything became calm. We must learn this lesson. We must understand that we are not victims of circumstances. We are not at the mercy of other people or outside events. We are the ones who create our own reality. And when we believe this, we will begin to see that we have the power to change our lives and to create the reality we desire. So, my friends, remember this simple teaching from Neville Goddard. You are already that which you want to be. Your inner state is the cause, and the outer world is just the effect. You are not a victim. You are the operant power. You are the creator. You are God. Thank you.